in the diagram when it says retain toilets, but in the plan I don't see those toilets there. But they are.
Right hand side.
On the right hand side, they are still there.
The one there, yeah. I think, can I please, the information centre, if we do look, he's proposing that it goes into the, next to the Pizza Hut, which is that little park that we have. We actually don't own that park, so there would be a cost to that straight away if that was, if that was taken any further. And I don't know what that cost would be.
He gives three suggestions for the
Yes, I know. I'm just making a comment on that proposed site.
Yeah. That is not our land.
No.
In fact, it may be difficult to subdivide.
I think it already is subdivided.
One aspect in this drawing that really strikes me, your worship, is that all the trees are small and young.
All right. Has Mr. Foot arrived?
We're early.
We are early.
Yeah, he wasn't due 11:15.
Mr. Simpson, would you like to come forward and come be early?
Okay, I'm waiting to do that.
Mr. Simpson, welcome.
Thank you. As always, I assume everybody read my submission.
Yep.
So, I think what I'd like to initially is to, I think everyone knows the primary causes of the CBD decline. That's the relocation of the doctors to the hospital and a declining population. I think the declining population is highlighted in the Visitor Solutions report. And I think what we have to do is try and define the problem we're trying to address. Is it a decline in all CBD business, or is it the businesses along the front of Leaf Place? Because I think the redevelopment proposals suggested so far are not really going to benefit the businesses behind Leaf Place. I know there's talk of reducing parking so people have to go behind the Leaf Place to park their vehicles, but I don't know that that is actually going to happen in reality. And it seems to me the council wants to sort of set up a giant food hall down Leaf Place. People pull off State Highway 1 and they buy a coffee and a sandwich or something. But do we need to put money into that? Because if you look at Leaf Place now, the number of food establishments along there has already grown dramatically. So it looks like these people are already successfully exploiting the traffic coming off State Highway 1. Do they need as much help as the people in the streets behind Leaf Place? I think perhaps they don't. The other problem with the proposal as we see it is that we're trying to replace our population decline with people dragged off State Highway 1. But the spending habits of those two groups are entirely different. People off State Highway 1 are not going to be driving down to the snow on Friday evening and think, gosh, let's go and buy a fridge and take a ride. They're not. So the only people who will benefit from this dragging people off State Highway 1 are the food shops, the impulse buys, that sort of thing. But most of our CBD is made up of other businesses. We've got brown goods suppliers, white goods suppliers, we've got all sorts of other shops, bicycles, lawnmowers. They're not going to benefit from this. People don't stop in a town on their way to somewhere and buy a major appliance. So we really need to define which businesses are we trying to support with this redevelopment. And I think it's a very narrow range of businesses that we're focused on. And so our goal should be to increase the population here, because people tend to spend the most of their income in the town where they live. And they're the people who buy fridges and washing machines and everything. So we can't replace that by simply pulling people off State Highway 1. That's not going to work. The other thing that I have concerns about is the lack of hard supporting evidence for the redevelopment itself. When I was at the public consultation meeting with the council discussing this, I heard the CEO using words like if, assuming and hopefully an awful lot. And we're talking $5 million of money here. That's public money. If any member of the council wants to spend their own money, they're welcome to do it on the basis of if, assuming and hopefully. But not public money, not to the tune of $5 million. And even from the Visitor Solutions report, I'll give you some quotes. The average number of vehicles passing through Take Road daily is approximately 8,575. And estimated 50% of those vehicles are thought to represent tourist travellers. This is vague stuff. There's no hard evidence here. This is all supposition and so forth. It also says the estimated average vehicle occupancy of 1.66 passengers equals 7,118 tourist vehicle occupants per day. Estimated. And that's not a hard figure. It's not. You can spend money, $50 on the basis of an estimation, not 5 million. You've got to have far more concrete figures. I've presented plans to council in the past have been rejected because they weren't concrete enough. We're only talking a few $1,000s. So $5 million, this just doesn't cut it. I mean, I've been involved in a lot of projects and nobody would spend 5 million on this vagarities that come up here with assumptions, estimates, words like likely, indicative, suggests, all the way through that report. No hard concrete numbers. And there's disclaimers all the way through it as well, so I don't know. Also, if we look at it, there's no information as to what time of the day these vehicles are passing. We're talking about 8,000 vehicles. Not when do they pass? If they pass at 11 o'clock at night, 2 o'clock in the morning, that doesn't count because there's no businesses open, aside from the eateries, few McDonald's or something, to service these businesses. The people in the back streets trying to sell lawnmowers and washing machines, they get no benefit from someone passing at 2 in the morning or on a Sunday afternoon. So this information isn't in that report. We don't know the breakdown by time of the vehicles passing by tow car. It's a key critical factor. You don't spend $5 million without knowing that, because these figures could be miles out. If 50% of the traffic is passing outside of CBD business hours, then it's worthless to us. So the numbers here are a factor of 2 out in terms of what they represent today. Also, we can do the math. I mean, we've looked at all these estimations. I'm going to do some math, hard math. This is stuff you can't refute. Now, the Visitor Solutions report suggests, and I'm looking at worst case, because you always look at worst case, daily visitors, 178. Okay, the daily spend would total $4,344. Now, assume 50% of that is fuel, and I'm being very optimistic in assuming it's only 50%. That leaves $2,172 business a day coming in from this $5 million investment. Let's assume, I don't know these figures, I'm guessing here, sorry, but how many CBD businesses are there? We say there's 50, that represents $43 a day per business. We're spending $5 million to get $43 a day of extra business from the retailers. How many retailers will notice that amount in their turnover? Will it be the difference between survival and death? I don't think so. If you're that close to the line, this is not going to save you. So, it's a tiny little return. Now, if we took that $5 million and we simply divvied it up amongst the retailers at the rate of $43 a day, we could subsidise all businesses, not just the eateries, because this would mean every business would get a fair share. At the moment, only the eateries are really going to benefit. But if we divide up that $5 million amongst the 50 businesses in the CBD, that's 6 years worth of subsidy. 6 years, they would get $43. Sounds to me like it's a better option even. And so we need to look at the figures, they just don't add up. They really don't. We need to spend smarter, not harder. I mean, it's very tempting, I imagine, from a council perspective to say, we've got a problem, we need to address it, and no one's denying us. Let's throw some money at it. Then we can say, look, we're working on it. But that's not a solution. Because when you're looking at solving any problem, you've got to define it. You've got to, obviously, you've got to define the goals, find the causes that are causing the problem, mitigate those problems, and also come up with contingency strategies. Because not everything goes to plan. I think as the council knows with a lot of their projects, sometimes stuff doesn't work out as you think. There's no contingency planning in this. What if these numbers don't stack up? What if this is all wildly wrong, as it seems to be? What's the contingency? There isn't one. So again, $5 million of other people's money. That's a very big responsibility to go throwing that around on the basis of some if-whats and estimates and hopefuls. So, and what we should do in terms of being more smart with our use of the area is let's look at the assets we've already got. Let's look at the things we've already owned, already spend money on. How can they return a benefit to the CBD? I'm going to talk in an area that I know about because I've got first-hand information. I can speak with authority. Parks and reserves. I know that there are people wanting to come to the parks and reserves and take her up and fly their little drones. 12 people a week, Ian would probably cut 12 people, pretty close to that. They might come 30 times a year. So if we do the sums, that's 360 visits a year. And that's equivalent to 2 days worth of the State Highway 1 traffic, all of State Highway 1, if we implement the $5 million spend. But it wouldn't cost us a penny to have